So Caitlin Clark yesterday was arguing with referees, and as expected, yeah, they're trying to get her banned. They're trying to get Caitlin Clark suspended. It is genuinely trying to get her suspended.
Rival fans are losing it, demanding Caitlin Clark be suspended just for talking to referees while injured. Really? Is this the WNBA or a high school drama club? As the face of her team, it's natural she stays engaged and vocal, yet instead of appreciating her passion, the league seems to view her as a threat rather than a talented athlete. Why are people so afraid of Caitlin Clark? Her presence and intensity only highlight her importance in the league and her potential to continue making a big impact.
And at the end of the half, the Pistons 44, the Fever 40.
That was not underneath the basket. That was hard to see. The back-to-back. She had her back to her. It was in the open area. At least two of the refs, if not three of them, should have seen that foul. Caitlin pointed to it. They still didn't blow their whistle.
Let's clarify this. Caitlin Clark, injured and hobbling on one leg, probably barely held together by Hope and KT tape, becomes the target of rival fans demanding her suspension. But for what? For talking to referees? For simply staying involved in the game like every other star athlete throughout professional sports history? Is that now considered a crime? Is simply being Caitlin Clark on the court the new trigger for a flagrant foul? This reaction is unreasonable and unfair, highlighting how some fans and critics are unfairly targeting her for showing passion and resilience, even while injured.
They're trying to get her suspended. And by the way, this is coming from the same people that try to get her kicked out of the league. So, there is a tweet going semi-viral right now. And by the way, there's a lot more. There is a lot more tweets in this. This is just the one that I've seen. And this is just a funny thing.
This is what occurs when the league, media, and rival fans become allergic to true greatness. Caitlin Clark, whether people like it or not, is the headline. She's the reason thousands of new fans are tuning into the WNBA, bringing excitement and energy to the game. Her presence is transforming Indiana's arena from a quiet church bingo night into a lively, passionate environment. Instead of celebrating her impact, rival fans are frenzied, clamoring for her to be punished simply for participating and showcasing her talent. It's a clear case of jealousy and fear of her rising star.
2 weeks, but more importantly, do you guys love the WNBA? Or do you just love Caitlin Clark? We're going to take a deep dive on that because when she got hurt, I was like, well, that's part of sports. She's an athlete. She's going to get hurt. Oh, but the sky started to fall when Caitlin Clark got hurt.
Have you ever seen LeBron James limping on the court, engaging with referees or directing plays? Did anyone suggest he should be suspended? When Diana Taurasi displayed her fierce leadership and openly argued with officials for much of her career, was there a push to bench her? So why is it that when Caitlin Clark simply talks to referees or participates in the game, something every player does, it's suddenly treated as a serious offense? Where is the outrage and scrutiny directed at other players doing the same? The double standard is clear. Clark's actions are being unfairly singled out, while others are given a pass.
Person is literally, so in the last 10 days, has called for Caitlin Clark to be investigated for fraud, tagging the WNBA. And again, do you want to know what the funniest thing about all of this is? Is that I would think nothing of this if it wasn't for the fact that WNBA have literally opened an investigation based on Twitter. Well, almost certainly based on Twitter.
It's as if the entire WNBA woke up one morning and decided, let's target the one player who's significantly boosting our league's visibility by 25%. That's not just a random statistic. It's a clear indicator of her impact. Caitlin Clark, a rookie, has transformed every game she's in into must-see TV. Yet, instead of celebrating her influence, the league responds with silence, apathy, and a let-her-figure-it-out-herself attitude. It's as though allowing referees and opposing players to treat her unfairly is just some form of hazing. But that's not acceptable. It's negligence and cowardice. Ask yourself, why is Caitlin Clark the only player who gets zero benefit of the doubt? Why is she expected to play perfect basketball, speak flawlessly, and behave like a saint? Meanwhile, others throw elbows, trash talk, and confront opponents without facing consequences. Are the rules different for her? Because from what it looks like, they sure seem to be. The double standard is painfully obvious, and it highlights a troubling bias. It's time for the league to hold everyone to the same standard, recognize her contributions without bias, and stop unfairly targeting her for simply being herself. Fair play and equality should be non-negotiable.
Caitlin Clark is driving the WNBA insane. It's to the point that she may need to step away from the WNBA, have a billionaire come in that has the money to prove a point, and say, Caitlin, I'll pay you $50 million just to see if the WNBA can make it without you. Let's go create a complete different league and expose the hell out of the WNBA.
It's like the entire league has become a reality show called Who Wants to Humble Caitlin Clark this week? And the prize is a fleeting moment of internet applause before everyone goes back to irrelevance. This isn't about fairness or sportsmanship. It's rooted in fear. The league is scared. Players are scared. Fans are uneasy. Because Caitlin Clark isn't just a talented player, she's redefining what's possible in basketball. That kind of talent and spotlight makes people uncomfortable. So what do? They try to dull her shine. They twist her actions into scandals, weaponize the media to portray her as arrogant, entitled, or ungrateful, as if speaking to referees while injured is diva behavior, as if showing leadership in tough moments is a negative. It's baffling. Make that logic make sense. Instead of embracing her influence, the league seems more interested in tearing her down, revealing their insecurity rather than celebrating her groundbreaking talent. It's a clear double standard, and it's time to recognize her greatness without bias or fear.
Is it okay to come on the floor and argue the ref? I can guarantee you the commissioner will think nothing is wrong since it's Clark. And in the last week, that same person has tweeted this. And she was the original person that made the viral tweet. With 1.7 million views, saying you need to take a closer look at why Clark was pressuring her coach to be let back in the game when they were up over 20 points. It resulted in Dave Portnoy placing a bet. It resulted from
Let's also examine the state of the WNBA itself. If this league had even a shred of common sense or a smidge of self-preservation, they'd be wrapping Caitlin Clark in bubble wrap, hiring her a dedicated security team, and perhaps bringing in referees who can actually see the game clearly. Instead, they've allowed her to get blindsided on screens, slammed to the floor, shoved off balance, and then penalized for simply reacting like a regular person. No flagrant fouls, no technicals for the aggressors, no fines, no ejections, and definitely no public statements defending her. Just deafening silence, calculated and deliberate. Now imagine the roles reversed. Suppose Caitlin Clark delivered a hard screen on an opponent and then walked away unbothered. League officials would be holding a press conference before the fourth quarter even started. Sports networks would replay the incident in slow motion for days, analyzing her body language as if it were some historic moment. Debates would rage, apologies would be demanded, suspensions floated around, and think pieces written about her conduct. But when she's the one getting physically assaulted, crickets, nothing. It's as if her safety, talent, and importance to the league don't matter at all. This double standard exposes the league's bias and its failure to protect its star players.
But what has happened since Caitlin Clark has gotten hurt? Now, it's pretty tough to talk about the viewership because she just got hurt, so the TV ratings haven't come all the way in. But there are some indicators out there, such as there were ticket prices for the next Fever versus Sky matchup. And guess what? They dropped by 71% right after the news of her injury. And then they're talking about the growth of the WNBA, how it's supposed to be unprecedented this year. But now that will come to a halt as well just because of a 2-week injury to Caitlin Clark. Okay. So I've been on here on record saying that it's all about Caitlin Clark for me. And every time I say that, I know the resistance, I know the forces in the headwind against me. You may feel the same way. I hate this world where you just can't say it.
And that brings up a crucial question. Is this really the league that aims to grow? Is this the kind of welcome the WNBA extends to the player responsible for a surge in ratings, merchandise sales, and sold-out arenas? Because it's increasingly feeling less like professional sports and more like petty middle school politics with a basketball. The message being sent is loud and clear. Caitlin Clark is a threat, not just to opponents on the court, but to the entire status quo. As instead of protecting her, the league seems to be handing out brass knuckles to anyone eager to send a message. So how much longer will the WNBA continue to play oblivious? How many more elbows to the face, dirty screens, and cheap shots does Clark have to endure before someone with real authority intervenes and declares enough? Because what we're witnessing isn't basketball anymore. It's targeted harassment disguised as competition, jealousy masquerading as defense. It's not tough, it's not gritty, it's petty, it's pathetic. And if the league doesn't address this issue soon, they'll be left wondering how they managed to squander the biggest gift they've ever received, the player who's revolutionizing the game and captivating a nation.
We know what she brings to the table, but people wanted to hate because why? You had a bunch of players in this league that watched this young white girl come along and take the league by storm, and they resented it because they saw the marketing prowess that she had. They ignored the fact that you got chartered flights because of this girl. They ignored the fact that ratings were going through the roof because of this girl. Instead, they resented it because they said, yo, we were doing stuff long before Caitlin Clark got here, and y'all wasn't paying attention then. But now the young white girl comes along and y'all want to sit up there and shower all of this praise and all of this attention that was earned before she ever came along. The resentment is understandable, but it's not about Caitlin Clark. It's about what she represents. My point is, grow up. Who cares? If you're Magic and Bird, that didn't stop Jordan from coming along and doing what he did.
Let's revisit this so-called controversy. Caitlin Clark, nursing an injury, talks to the officials. That's the whole scandal. That's the entire grounds for suspension, apparently. And fans ran with it like it was Watergate. They flooded Twitter. They screamed into comment sections demanding she be punished. These are the same people who probably celebrated when she dropped 30 on their team last week. The same ones who pretend to hate her but can't stop watching her every move. It's obsession masked as outrage. Do they even hear themselves? Suspend her for being a leader? For trying to guide her team while injured? Is this not what every great player does? Why is it only unacceptable when Caitlin Clark does it? Is it because she's white? Is it because she's confident? Is it because she doesn't shrink under pressure? Is it because she makes others feel small by simply showing up and excelling? You can't claim it's about equality or sportsmanship if you're only outraged when she does something everyone else already does.
WNBA, they're having troubles with tickets now because I think Caitlin Clark is out for what? How many weeks is she out? She's ruled out for the June 7th game. That's when she was supposed to meet up with Angel Reese again. And Chicago Sky, and there's a massive drop in ticket sales. This is after the take foul that she had on Reese and ended with a shove, and she got a flagrant foul, and they gave Reese and the other chick a foul. And I don't know, I guess she has a left quad strain, and she's gonna miss
at least 4 games, is what they're saying.
Yeah, okay. And the fourth and final of those games is the game against Sky, and so they said, after her injury was announced, so check this out. The game on June 7th, the tickets were originally $86. Same seats now.
This isn't just about Caitlin Clark. It's about a broader culture that punishes women for being assertive, for being outspoken, for competing fiercely. When that woman happens to be young, popular, and unafraid to claim the spotlight, suddenly the rules start to shift. The standards become more demanding, the judgment more severe, and the expectations almost impossible to meet. Meanwhile, where is the league office during all of this? Are they blind? Or worse, are they complicit in allowing this to happen? The WNBA has a real chance to set a positive tone, to affirm that fairness, protection, and consistency matter, regardless of who the player is. But they're failing to do so. Instead, they seem content to let chaos unfold, while their biggest star gets knocked down, physically and publicly. And the irony is, Caitlin Clark hasn't even done anything controversial. She hasn't thrown punches, cursed out anyone, or refused interviews. She's approached her career with professionalism, playing hard, showing up, and promoting the league better than any PR campaign could. Yet she remains public enemy number 1, simply because she's unapologetically talented and unafraid to shine.
Can we be clear about this? If Caitlin Clark were not in the WNBA, we would not be talking about the WNBA. She's the only ticket draw in the WNBA. A large percentage of all tickets sold in the WNBA or so people can watch Caitlin Clark play basketball.
What does that tell you? That doing everything right still isn't enough when people have already decided they want you to fail. Caitlin Clark could donate half her paycheck to charity, and they'd accuse her of trying to buy good press. She could apologize for getting injured, and they'd accuse her of seeking sympathy. There is no win for her with this crowd. The goalposts aren't just moving. They're in another stadium entirely. So here's the question. How much longer will Caitlin Clark be expected to carry this league on her back while the very people benefiting from her presence treat her like a problem? How much longer before the WNBA grows a spine and defends its star? Because make no mistake, without her, ratings plummet. Attendance drops. National conversations disappear. And all those fans calling for her suspension, they'll be back to watching reruns of Real Housewives instead. The irony is thick. The same fans begging for her to be suspended are the ones who bought tickets to see her play. The same people trashing her online are the ones driving traffic to WNBA content because they can't stop clicking her name. Caitlin Clark isn't just playing basketball, she's running a masterclass in exposure, and the league is too busy trying to humble her to even cash in properly.
About this. Obviously, Caitlin Clark is a competitor and wants to play. Obviously, everyone wants to watch her play, but for me, it's about making sure we address this in a way that doesn't affect her long term.
Sounds totally reasonable. I think obviously she's instrumental to what that team does. She's very important to the league at large, as we've.
If you genuinely want to grow the league, then protect your biggest stars. If you want to be taken seriously as a league, then stop turning a blind eye while your most valuable player is pushed around and marginalized like she doesn't matter. If your goal is to be progressive, inclusive, and competitive, then stop behaving like a teenage clique whenever a new player starts outperforming everyone else. The solution is straightforward. Enforce the rules consistently, penalize cheap shots and dirty plays, and treat your talent with the respect they deserve. And for the love of basketball, stop acting as if Caitlin Clark is the villain in a story she didn't write. She's not the problem. She's the spotlight, someone who's shining a light on the league's shortcomings, and clearly, some people aren't ready to be seen in it. Here we are, rival fans calling for her suspension, while the league remains silent. Meanwhile, Clark keeps showing up, playing through injuries, carrying the narrative, and still being portrayed as the issue. If that doesn't reveal how threatened they are by her presence, nothing will. But go ahead. Continue to try silencing her. Keep ignoring the hits she takes. Keep pretending she's the problem while riding the wave she's created. Just don't be surprised when her fans follow her, not the league that failed to stand up for her. Ultimately, her impact is undeniable, and the league's response, or lack thereof, speaks volumes about its readiness to embrace real change.
Next, Indiana Fever versus Chicago Sky game. June 7th, I believe. That's going to be on CBS as well. You think that's going to draw 2.7? I can assure you it won't. You think that's going to draw over 2 million? I can assure you that won't. Over 1 million views, 1 to 1.5 might be the ballpark for that Chicago Sky Indiana Fever game. But if it's anything under 1 million, then people turned off in record numbers. If this next Chicago Sky Indiana Fever game on CBS does anything less than 1 million, people turned off in record.
Here's the hard truth they're afraid to admit. Caitlin Clark isn't just another player. She's become the entire narrative of the WNBA right now. She's the reason fans are tuning in record numbers, buying tickets, and buzzing about the league more than ever before. The energy, the spotlight, the cultural conversation, not today, not tomorrow. And it's not just because she had the nerve to speak to a referee while injured. This isn't about protocol or decorum. It's about discomfort. Because when a young woman enters a league with confidence, skill, and a spotlight larger than what they're comfortable sharing, the system reacts with panic. Every word becomes a controversy. But Caitlin isn't here to dim her light or make others feel comfortable. She's here to play, to win, and to revolutionize the game, and she's already making that happen. You can try to ignore her impact, whisper behind closed doors, or pretend she's not changing the game. But the roar of the crowd, the record-breaking numbers, and the undeniable influence she's wielding shout otherwise. Caitlin Clark is here to stay, and the league better get used to it. If you enjoyed leaving a like and subscribing, more videos are on the screen now.